will you show up on game day? Instead of feeling down about your situation, try to figure out what you can do to create positive momentum for yourself. Even at your lowest point, even at your lowest moment, there is something that you can do to create a small win. Now, your small win might not be the same as my small win. Your small win might simply be getting out of the bed. Your small win might be going to the gym. Your small win might be making one more phone call or getting up an hour earlier to put in some extra work. You have to believe that you control your destiny. Don't put that responsibility on anyone else but you. Something is happening. Something is taking place. The seeds that you've sown, they are still working for you. The time and energy you sacrifice, they are not in vain. When you plant a seed, which is really your goal, you have to nurture it. You have to protect it. You can't do one set of crunches and expect to have a six-pack. You've got to show up every day. You've got to show up day after day. You've got to show up when you're motivated. You've got to show up when you're feeling unmotivated. You got to show up when everyone is behind you. And you got to show up when it feels like everyone is against you. You've got to show up when you feel like you're winning. And you got to show up when you feel like you're losing. It's your time and it's your turn. But you're going to have to be willing to endure the temporary struggle. You're going to have to be willing to deal with the negative chatter in your head because it's not going away. You got to manage it. You got to confront your fears. You got to confront your doubts. Success is not going to be handed to you. Nobody owes you anything, but you owe you everything. You owe it to yourself to hang in there when it gets hard. You owe it to yourself to get up every day and grind. You don't have time to focus on what other people are saying. You don't have time to focus on what other people are doing. Experiencing a failure feels like a loss, but it's not. Failure is your teacher. It's working for you behind the scenes, preparing you for your next win. There is no time like the present to fight for what belongs to you. Your toughest moments are preparing you for your biggest victories. Go after what you want and expect to get it. When you are serious about hitting your goals, you don't quit when it gets hard. I don't care how many times you've tried. Try again. I don't care how many times you've heard no. Ask again. I don't care how many times you fall. Get up. You don't stop when you get frustrated. You pursue for as long as it takes. So I have a question for you. Are you disciplined enough to keep going? Growth is about one word: progress. What do you want for you, and what do you need from you in order to make it happen? So if you're still consumed by what happened last year, last month, or even yesterday, guess what? You are holding up your progress. You are holding up your progress, but your future self wants you to get up. You have to believe that you control your destiny. Don't put that responsibility on anyone else but you. It's either going to be focused on the future, focus on the present, or focus on the past. That's it. And I can tell you from personal experience that it's easy to get off track by focusing too much on your mistakes, or focusing too much on your missed opportunities, or focusing too much on what disappointed you or who disappointed you. What you don't want to do is put so much energy into what happened that you miss out on what is happening. You should be in such a zone that your mind is only programmed to look forward. You are not looking backwards. You are not looking to the right. You are not looking to the left. You gotta be focused. Once you get clear on what you want, you have to have the courage to chase it. At the end of the day, you can't let your disappointment stop your grind. Keep going. Disappointment hurts, but you have to be willing to stay committed through the pain. The people at the top of their game, they stay committed and they choose to keep going even when they encounter resistance. If you are pursuing something big, guess what? Opposition is coming. Difficulty is coming. Unexpected changes are coming. You can't control everything, but you can control your response to everything that happens in your life. And so if you are determined to keep going, you got to understand that your current challenge is just another hurdle for you to jump over. What you are up against is beneath you. It seems big because your mind and your feelings have convinced you that it's big. It seems big because you have already determined that what you're going through is too much for you to handle. But it's all about perception. You can view your challenge as an opportunity, or you can view it as a threat. When you view it as a threat, fear becomes your guide. Fear becomes your compass. But when you view it as a challenge, determination becomes your guide. If you look for a reason to quit, you're going to find it. But just like you can come up with reasons why it makes more sense to quit, you can come up with reasons why you have to hang in there. Do you realize that your struggle is simply strength training? Falling down happens, but staying down, that's a choice. When you experience a setback, you can be discouraged, or you can become more determined to keep going. So how are you managing your thoughts? Your mind can be your greatest source of fuel or your greatest hindrance. Every time you follow through on doing what you didn't think you could do, you improve your confidence and your mind gets stronger. If you want to keep going, you must pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Your words are weapons that can work for you or against you.
Has competed.
Have you ever asked yourself the question, how did I get here? Many times we make subtle decisions that don't seem to be a big deal. But what we often fail to realize is that where you are today is the result of all of the decisions, big and small, that you've made up until this point. The good news is, even if you are not where you want to be right now, you still have a chance to rewrite your script. Yes, it's frustrating when you do not accomplish what you've expected to accomplish within the time frame that you set. Yes, all of us want our journey to be a straight path. But in actuality, your journey will have unexpected stops. It will have curves. It will have hills. It will have valleys. You will have sunny days. You will have rainy days. But you have to decide. If I encounter rejection, if I encounter frustration, if I am disappointed, I will not give up. The key is to learn how to separate your feelings from your performance. Yes, some days I don't feel like working. Some days I have to battle with unfair situations. But at the end of the day, I have a decision to make. Either I'm going to have a pity party or I'm going to figure out how to pull myself up. So I say to you today, pull yourself up. Lift up your bowed down head. Guess what? Every day I have to choose to pull myself up. There will always be something that you can complain about. There will always be something that you could be worried about. But what I'm challenging you to do is to pursue your goals in spite of what's going on around you. Take a close look at your life, your health, your relationships, your business, your career, and ask yourself a simple question. Have I given my all? If you are not careful, fear, doubt, and worry will keep you stuck wishing your circumstances were better, but never doing what it takes to improve them. It's time for you to pursue what you really want, not what others want for you, not what others expect from you, but you got to pursue what you really want with everything you've got. One of the hardest things I've had to do is confront mediocrity in my own life. I'm challenging you to commit to dismantling whatever it is that has been holding your destiny hostage. Is it self-doubt? Is it the fear of being rejected? Is it self-sabotage? Is it refusing to let go of the past? Don't get so wrapped up in what happened yesterday that you miss out on the opportunities that are waiting for you today. Remember, whenever one door closes, there is another door waiting for you. Don't second guess yourself, and don't be so afraid of failing that you create excuses instead of producing results. After being involved in a physically abusive relationship for 6 years, I had to rewrite my script. I do understand that a lot of times when you go through things, it feels like it's for you, but it really isn't. It's really so that you can help someone else get through that same thing. And you can say to them, listen, I made it through, and so can you. I really thought that I would be the last person to do what I'm doing, just because of what I've overcome. What I thought about myself. I did not like myself. I did not like the way I looked. I did not like the person in the mirror. And so I was the person who was in front of everyone else. And everyone thought I was happy. Everyone thought I had it all together. But I was secretly depressed. I was secretly battling with a low self-confidence. And I was so broken. And how many of you know that when you are broken, sometimes you can attract the exact opposite of what you need? In retrospect, I know why I stayed in an unhealthy relationship for 6 years. In my mind, I could not do any better. In my mind, there was no way that anyone else would be attracted to me. So I stayed. But eventually, I came to realize that I was not lucky to have him, but he was lucky to have me. I came to realize that I deserved better. You see, setting higher standards might mean that you have to wait a little longer than you anticipated, but getting what you deserve will be worth the wait. Will you commit to making yourself a priority? Yes, there are a lot of people counting on you. Yes, others need you. But guess who else needs you? You need you. Be confident in your ability to overcome any challenge that comes your way. Why? Because your level of confidence is going to determine what you strive for. If you don't have confidence, what you'll do is you'll see something that you want, but you won't go for it because you'll tell yourself, I'm not cut out for this. I'm not good enough for this. I don't speak well enough for this. I'm not credentialed enough, or I'm not qualified enough. And what you're doing is holding yourself back. I never thought that I would be speaking. I never thought that I would be Dr. Jessica Houston. I never thought that I would be traveling the world. I never thought that I would be an author. But it took me stepping out of my comfort zone. It took me saying to myself, you will not let your daughter take the same route that you took. That's what helped me the most. What I have discovered is that women are very good at pretending to be okay. Many times we suppress what we're dealing with and we cover it all up. Women are natural nurturers. In fact, we often help and support others even when we are facing a challenging situation ourselves. Unlocking your destiny is going to require that you add yourself to your priority list. You need you. Don't abort your mission out of frustration. When you are in the midst of a challenging situation, your mind will tell you that you are finished. Your mind will tell you that you may as well cut your losses now. Your mind will tell you that you are stuck and will probably be where you are right now for a long time. But your thoughts cannot be trusted when your emotions are high. Your thoughts cannot be trusted when you have just experienced rejection. Being rejected does not mean that you are not smart enough or talented enough. Rejection is a part of your journey to success. So don't get stuck in your disappointment. Instead of focusing on how unfair your situation is, I'm challenging you to use your frustration to push you harder. I want you to know that you are not finished. In fact, you are just getting started. You see, your trials and your difficult moments are just a part of your process. Your discomfort is actually helping you to transition into a stronger and wiser version of yourself. And for someone who is listening right now, you are feeling discouraged. You're feeling discouraged because of what you've lost. But I want you to know that what you have left is all you need to rebuild. I'm going to say that again. What you have left is all you need to rebuild. Your brokenness signifies a new beginning. This is a new beginning for you. So this is not the time for you to slack off. This is not the time for you to go to your unhealthy coping mechanism, whatever that is for you. This is not the time for you to go into your room, turn off the lights, and pull the covers over your head. This is the time for you to go into warrior mode. The dreams that you have are not going to fall into your lap. We all want that. We all want the easy route. We all want it to happen fast. But the truth is that you've got to be willing to fight for what you want. And sometimes the person that you have to check is yourself. Yes, you heard that correctly. You have to check yourself because your dreams cannot become a reality without you. You have to be confident in you. You have to believe that you have what it takes. You have to declutter your mind. You have to make sure that you are managing yourself wisely, that you are making the right decisions. You have to make sure that you keep the promises that you have made to yourself. You have to envision what you want and refuse to let go until you get it. So what is going to enable you to finish? Well, there's a lot that goes into achieving your goals, so I don't want to make it sound like it's simple, but I can tell you this. Without extreme focus and tenacity, you will do a whole lot of starting, but very little finishing. So take note of this. Finishing requires focus, and you might even have to repeat that to yourself. Finishing requires focus. It's easy to become distracted, especially with all of the chaos that's going on in the world right now. But you have work to do. And so it's important that you keep your focus in the right place. It's important that you keep working towards crossing the finish line. The easiest way to sink into a state of depression is to become consumed by your problems. There is a difference between being aware of your problems and being consumed by them. So if your problems are all that you seem to think about, your focus is in the wrong place. It's going to be up to you to recognize when it's time to shift your focus. And so whenever your mind tries to take you to a place that pulls you into a state of despair, you got to shift your focus. When you entertain negative thoughts, it's like being in quicksand. Before you even realize it, you can go from having a simple negative thought to feeling discouraged. And this doesn't take a long time. It can happen in a matter of minutes. And once you lock into that negative thought pattern, it's really difficult to come out of it. And so this is why you have to recognize your negative thought patterns quickly and shift your energy immediately. And so this is the only time you have permission to find a distraction. So that might sound contradictory when I'm saying you have to focus, but listen to what I'm saying. You do have to focus, and that is why when your mind goes negative, you have to find a distraction so that you can get back to that place where you're able to be productive. So that might mean that you have to take a moment and go for a walk. That might mean that you have to put on your favorite song. That might mean you have to call a friend. The goal is to not become bound by your thoughts. That's the goal. That's how you're going to stay focused. To not become bound by what's going on around you. And the other thing you need to know is that you have to have tenacity. You have to have tenacity. So what is tenacity? Tenacity is about being persistent. Tenacity is about being able to withstand pressure. And I'm telling you, that is the one thing you're going to have to master. You're going to have to know how to withstand pressure, because if you want to go far in life, you're gonna experience some pressure. You cannot quit at the first sign of opposition. You cannot quit because your situation appears dismal. You've got to choose to get your energy up. You've got to choose to get your hopes up. You have to execute your plan and recognize that you have everything you need to finish. You can't just talk about wanting to win. You have to prepare to win, and you have to expect to win. So I have a question for you. Are you willing to finish? I don't want you to settle for an incomplete. I know that you have a lot going on, but are you willing to finish?
For the longest time, I focused on one thing, the way I look. The way I look on stage, on social media, or in the public eye. Every training session, every meal, and every aspect of my life was geared towards becoming Miss Bikini Olympia. I sacrificed so much for that goal, and when I finally won, it all seemed so worth it. It was incredible. It was so fulfilling to get the recognition of being the best in the world at what I do, and for all the sacrifices to pay off. So now, I don't have that goal of stage. It's more of just like that goal to come in here, smash my workouts and feel good. It's just not about aesthetics all the time. It's like working on strength and focus, just feeling good when I train. True fitness is about feeling your best from the inside out. Your external appearance will change, but it's about being happy and healthy with who you are. That's the most important. Everything I do now, I do because of the way it makes me feel, and I've truly never been happier. I've realized that sometimes you have to fall down to stand a little taller.
Just be positive, man. Like, even on your worst days, try to find something positive out of them, and try to find a way to keep your head up. I was just saying to another young girl, I was talking like how, we go through a lot as women. We go through a lot as people. And, there could be some like the days that seem like they're your darkest days, but you have to know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And the way that you get closer to that light is just by simply opening your eyes, looking in a positive direction, pushing in a positive direction. Even when if there's something negative, try to find something positive to counteract it.